The primary reason for its significant attention is its superior performance over AMD's current flagship mobile CPU, the AI Max 395. This chip is unequivocally a performance monster, with a 46-core, 32-thread CPU coupled with a 44EU integrated GPU. Even for a desktop, this core count is remarkably impressive. Such a powerful mobile processor is precisely what enabled the creation of the Win 5. I plan to discuss pricing later, but it's essential to consider it with the product. During pre-sales, there's no 385 version. The 395 model comes in 32GB plus 1TB and 64GB plus 2TB options. I estimate the 32GB pre-sale price to be 9,999 yuan and the 64GB version to be 11,999 yuan. Regarding accessories, the PPT public account has already published a related article. In appearance, the Win 5 looks like a larger Win 4, but this is just an engineering sample, so the mold quality is still quite rough. It's truly a pity they removed the slide-up keyboard design. The old ways are gone. The engineering sample's central thickness is 0.94 inches, and its bare weight is 20.98 ounces. It seems they made some really tough choices to make it lighter and thinner. To make it a bit lighter and thinner, they made tough choices. The screen measures 10.43 inches long and 4.37 inches wide. Compared to the ROG Ally X, which has the same screen size, this device is even more compact. As for the buttons, it uses a capacitive joystick. Though I'm not an expert, it feels quite good to the touch. It also features a metal joystick ring, and the travel is decent. The D-pad retains the classic dome switch design, the ABXY. The keys are now made of conductive rubber, significantly larger than those on the Win 4. They offer a moderate and comfortable travel distance when pressed. The shoulder buttons are highly responsive micro switches, easily triggered from either end. Additionally, the trigger buttons have been enlarged and feature a shorter travel, as depicted in the image. The buttons are slightly larger, which feels great when you rest your hands on them. A trigger switch function has been added, allowing you to switch between a linear and non-linear trigger. When you switch to the non-linear trigger, it activates instantly, which is perfect for fighting games and FPS games that require quick responses. The previous handle to now switch has been made into a button, making it more convenient to operate. The well-liked infrared beam function has also been kept. Because the top space is tight, the volume keys have been moved to the bottom right. The ports haven't been cut down though. On top there's a 3.5mm headphone jack, a USB-A port, a USB-C port, and a DC power port. On the bottom there's a full-function C port. On the right side of the right handle there's a TF card slot. And at the bottom of the right handle, there's the new 1517 spec X8 SSD interface. We'll test it when we get the SSD. I must praise the grip. With the larger screen, the Win 5 doesn't prioritize extreme portability. The grip curve is larger, fitting perfectly in hand. Plus, at just over 17.64 ounces, it's very comfortable to hold. Your index finger can easily reach the curved back buttons, which are perfectly positioned. The benefit is there's no awkward protrusion, so you don't have to worry about accidental presses. The joysticks are placed asymmetrically, so your fingers can easily reach all the buttons without that awkward claw grip. The power button is on the front. Some users were worried about accidentally pressing it during intense gameplay, but it seems the chance of that is pretty low. It's offset from the D-pad, positioned more inward and lower, and it's recessed, so it's not that easy to press. The screen is a 7-inch 1080p, 120Hz native landscape display that supports quick refresh rate switching. It's the same screen used in the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, making it perfect for a handheld. The speakers are on the front at the bottom, so your hands won't block them much. However, the audio quality hasn't been tuned yet, so we won't do a sound test for now. We'll wait for the final unit. So how did the Win 5 manage to fit the 395 chip into a small 7-inch body? This allows for the motherboard and large cooling system to fit. The 80 Wh external battery pack weighs 12.54 ounces, and with it, the total weight is 33.56 ounces. Compared to the Alienware UFO, also 80 Wh, it weighs 23.92 ounces. MSI Claw A1S, 26.96 ounces, and the second-gen engineering sample, 33.04 ounces. The Win 5 features these cooling specs. The weight is actually quite reasonable, but the external battery pack is in the center, which can make it feel a bit back heavy. Luckily, the weight is evenly distributed when held, but it might still get tiring during long sessions. Support would be more comfortable. However, previously leaked renders showed the battery pack has an extension cable accessory to be used as a power bank, which seems great for on-the-go use. Of course, the best Win 5 experience is still with the battery detached. When playing plugged in, the 395's TDP can reach over 100 watts, while the Win 5 keeps it around 80 watts. With peripherals, the device exceeds 100 watts. A typical 100 watt PD charger struggles with high loads and current surges, so a 180 watt DC power adapter is included. The DC port is robust. It stayed put when I shook it. The adapter's cable is about 5.58 feet, so you won't be limited by the cord while playing and charging. It connects via a plum blossom plug, so you can easily swap for a longer cable. This adapter is a bit more compact than a fast charger, even slightly smaller than an iPhone 16 Pro Max. Max, coming in at 20.05 ounces. Combined with the Win 5, the travel weight is 41.07 ounces, which is still a bit more of a hassle than a standard PD charger. However, our PureTech Desktop 30 Ultra power station perfectly solves this issue. This charger is the first desktop all-in-one charging station to support up to 300 watts output with a DC port, perfect for high-performance devices. With its CCCA plus DC port layout, it can fast charge multiple devices, boosting desktop efficiency. The AI Smart Power Adjustment increases utilization by 30%, and it supports ADC 2.0 multi-protocol fast charging, covering 13 main protocols. This includes the 120-watt Xiaomi Hypercharge. Older chargers list individual port power, but PureTech only shows maximum single port power, with ports 2 to 5 combining for 300 watts. That's solid. After 180 watts for the Win 5's DC, 120 watts remains. For PD power, your phone, tablet, and MacBook can all charge simultaneously, instantly decluttering your desktop. It also boasts a superb 1.83-inch screen with 850 nits peak brightness and a 170-degree viewing angle, capable of displaying various data. The magnetic base allows for 0 and 10-degree adjustments to suit different situations. Weighing just 22.36 ounces, one is sufficient for travel. The matte finish offers grip and durability with a compact design. Safety is guaranteed by full 3C certification, including low temp ripple, over voltage, overcurrent, overheat, short circuit, and over temperature protection, and a 0.1 second quick power cutoff. Paired with the Win 5, it meets multi-device power needs at home or on the go. Now for the 395's performance. This engineering sample isn't the final version, but its performance is way ahead. At 30 watts, the TimeSpy scores CPU 8429, GPU 6016, and total 6285 are quite impressive. The trade-off was high peripheral power consumption. After adjustments, the new 30-watt TimeSpy score remains high, and system power consumption dropped from 49 to 42 to 44 watts. This benefits the device, making it better for mobile use. Currently, on battery at 30 watts, you can play for under 2 hours. I'll share detailed battery life tests later. At 70 watts, TimeSpy and Master Lu scores are impressive. The high power performance difference after tweaking is minor. I tested several games at 70 watts. Horizon 5 at 149 frames, 2077 at 106.9 frames, Black Myth, Wukong at 83 frames, and Monster Hunter Wilds at 117.4 frames, meaning it can handle 1080p. And run all sorts of AAA games on high presets smoothly. This kind of handheld graphic quality means technology is advancing too quickly. For more detailed 395 tests, see my previous ROG Ally video, which has full power consumption tests. Once I get that unit, I will also focus on testing its performance on the Win 5. Subscribe for updates. With such strong performance in such a small body, cooling and noise are definitely concerns. At 70 watts DC, with FPU and Firmark running, the system uses 113 watts, the core temp is 174.2 degrees Fahrenheit, and fan noise is around 50 decibels. This is the quietest GPD fan I've heard, very pure. At 50 watts, the system uses 78 watts, core temp is 156.2 degrees Fahrenheit, and fan noise is about 46 decibels. A dual stress test cannot be run at 30 watts. During game idle, the system uses 58 watts, with a core temperature of 137.5 degrees Fahrenheit and fan noise around 38 decibels. The cooling and airflow are very impressive this time. Plugging in the battery blocks some intake, but there are still bottom vents. At 70 watts dual stress, the core is 177.8 degrees Fahrenheit, not greatly impacting cooling. If you forget your hairdryer, just run the dual stress test for an expensive hairdryer, haha. Just kidding. Now let's take it apart. To be honest, it's my first time, so I'm a bit nervous, as it's an early engineering sample and I don't know what it looks like inside. Fortunately, there's no built-in battery, making disassembly less worrisome. However, there's a small aluminum coin cell battery that saves BIOS information, so I need to be careful with that. After opening it up, you'll see 2 fans taking center stage. These 2 fans are part of a massive cooling module, covering the CPU, memory, and MOS. The memory here is a 256-bit wide LPDDR5X, supporting a maximum capacity of 128 G at 8000 MHz with 8 chips. This explains why the peripheral power consumption and heat generation are so high, which is why the cooling coverage is so comprehensive. The right side of the motherboard uses a 2280 form factor, making full use of the internal space. However, the wiring's a bit messy, likely to be revised later. The new engineering sample shows the CPU and core taking up a large area. At about 2.6 inches long and 1.7 inches wide, the motherboard achieves impressive integration, showcasing GPD's capability.